so enjoy yourself. Just a really quick thing really, something I did at the last Canterbury Meetup Ashford, but I just think it's really important. I think in the industry that we're in, this is my serious moment by the way, in the industry that we're in, we all push each other really, really hard, we work with fantastic people, loads of people in here that I admire and look up to, and I think we're constantly in the, it's all of you, I think we're constantly in the mindset of looking at each other and trying to learn and trying to understand, and I think in our industry that can sometimes take its toll, so I just wanted to do a really quick bit of look out for each other. If anybody ever wanted to have a conversation about anything, these are all my details. If everybody wants to have a conversation about absolutely anything at all, personal or whatever, that's really good, that's really interesting. And really what I'm saying is we don't take enough attention on ourselves, and I really want everyone to start doing that. If you've got anxiety or anything like that, imposter syndrome is so huge in our industry, so please step forward and please talk about things, because it's really, really important. The only other thing I wanted to talk about was what's kind of going on with Kent Digital Meetup. So obviously a few months back we started Kent Digital Meetup in Canterbury, and it went really, really well. And we had a really good reception from the first one. We had about 50 people there. You wouldn't know it today, but yeah, we had about 50 people at the first one, which was really great. And then straight away there seemed to be this real want for this thing we were doing. There seemed to be a lot of people out there who were interested in finding out more about these sorts of topics in this sort of area. So we've added Ashford, and with the help of the lovely Reflect Digital team, we've added the Maidstone event as well. So we're going to carry on running one event every month in each town, in each city, and kind of look to see how that goes and look to plan that as well. We didn't want to move the event around because we wanted people that were in and around an area to be able to attend it every month. So we'll be looking to have multiple events, which is really, really cool. And as well, we're looking to grow that. You know, if anybody is interested in starting something up, if you're from out of town, you travel down to Canterbury today, and you think something like this would be really, really good where you are, like, let me know. It sounds really cool. I'd be interested in it. We're talking. Someone's going to do one in Folkestone soon. You know, if there's people kind of like Dartford way, or past Maidstone, like Chatham or anything like that, I'd be really interested in that as well. So let's shout about it. Okay. That's it. I'm done. Thank you. I am now going to hand over to the man who needs no introduction. This is double lapel Dan, as you'll see, due to how I've unfortunately mic'd him up today. So I'm sure you all know Dan, or have heard of Dan, or have seen something Dan does on social media, because I see it all the time. He's very good at what he does. And today he's going to be talking about video marketing. And hopefully he's going to be teaching us how to do it, because I have absolutely no idea how he does some of the fantastic things he does and how I see it all the time. So that will be enough from me. I will hand over to you, Dan.
Thank you. Cheers. So I'm double lapel Dan. Cool. So just really want to start with a quick backstory as to who I am and what we do. So 3 years ago, I knew nothing about video marketing, social media marketing or digital marketing, knew absolutely nothing. Just graduated from a business management with marketing degree at the University of Brighton. And ironically, I chose not to do any social media modules and any digital marketing modules. I chose all the boring stuff. For some reason, I didn't think I'd be interested in it. And then when I graduated, I went into a really random company called Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Who's heard of them? You know, the will pick you up cheesy adverts. So it was a graduate scheme, and they basically teach you how to run a business, because they teach you from the ground up about sales, accounts, marketing, customer service, building a team, and you basically run that branch and work your way up the ranks to run that branch as if it's your own business. So I worked my way up the ranks. I was running a business of 250 cars, 9 staff, and after a year of doing that, it sucked, because I was doing all the stuff to run a business, all the stress, all the pressure, but it wasn't my business and it wasn't something I was particularly interested in. So I quit. I went traveling around Thailand, got back, and I kind of thought to myself, like, what am I going to do now? I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And that was 3 years ago. So fast forward to now, I'm here about to talk to you about video marketing, and you all know what you're doing. You know, you're all in the marketing space. So you may be thinking, how have I got the audacity to stand up here and tell you what to do when I didn't even know what video marketing was 3 years ago? And the reason is because for the last 3 years, my big brother Lloyd and I have been learning, building and growing our own agency. And our strategy has been completely focused around building my personal brand in the marketing space at the front end, and then using that as a lead generation tool to feed our agency in the back end, which ultimately services and supports other businesses and helps them use the same strategies that we've had success with to help them grow. Okay, and that's things like social, video, content. And for an agency, compared to lots of other agencies, we are tiny. There's 2 of us right now. Soon to be 3, but there's 2 of us right now, and we're really small. But what isn't small is the impact and awareness that we've had in the industry in a short space of time, especially for our size. So over the next 20 minutes or so, I really want to share with you 4 key concepts around how you can use video to grow, because video has been a huge part of our growth, and I'm really passionate about trying to help others and share tips and stuff to do with video to help you do it. So, let's dive in. The first thing we always say to most businesses is you need to forget everything you currently know about video for business. And the reason you need to forget what you know is because for years, as businesses, we've been creating videos that we think our ideal customers will love, but we're forgetting one thing. And that one thing is that our ideal customers are normal humans just like us. They go on social for the same reasons we do. They search the internet for the same reasons we do. They want to watch the same type of videos that we want to watch. But for some reason, when we're doing it for business, we completely change what we're doing. We don't think like a consumer, we think like a business. We want to churn out this content and we don't put what consumers actually want to watch out there. So it's ridiculous. What we actually need to do is a few things. Understand who our customers are, understand where they hang out online, and think about the types of content that they actually want to consume. And taking that a bit deeper, we really need to understand where are our customers in their customer journey, and think about what types of content do we need to serve them dependent on where they are in that funnel. Okay? And to give you a bit more context around this, I've got 2 examples here. I've got an example of a video campaign from a company called Microsoft. You've heard of them? And another example from Unilad. And this first example is from a campaign they did when they launched Windows 7. So it was a really odd campaign. It basically wanted to encourage Windows users to have something called a Windows 7 launch party, where you brought all your friends round to your house and you all brought your computers and you did all troubleshooting and overcame problems together. So, I mean, who on earth would do that? Would any of you do that? Oh God, we've got one in the room. Okay, so I just want to play you this video and remember how to use this, and then we're going to talk about it quickly. Is the mouse? Oh, there it is. Oh, it's that one.
If you click the little green circle.
Hey, welcome to the party. The 4 of us, along with hosts worldwide, and you are launching Windows 7 Ultimate software. So, you know what? Let's take a minute or so to tell you about how great it is to host a launch party. You can use house party tools to build your guest list, upload your pictures, which is his favorite, right? And you can even get a party pack. Though you're in your own home, you'll be able to participate with others in this exciting event around the world.
In a lot of ways, you're just throwing a party with Windows 7 as an honored guest. Sounds easy, and it is. But we thought you'd probably like to know what to do to get ready and how some hosts want their party to flow.
Yeah, well now the 4 of us got to have our parties a little ahead of schedule, try everything out. So we thought we'd be able to tell you some of the tips that help make our parties really fun.
Now, of course, the first thing you want to do is install Windows 7. Yeah, make sure you...
Oh my God. How cringy is it? What did you think of that? Tell me what you thought.
It was so sweet, I feel like I have diabetes.
It was very American.
Yeah. It wasn't authentic, was it? It was just really scripted, it's just horrible to watch. So, yeah, exactly. It's highly produced but sucks, basically. And the funny thing is, lots of businesses, it's not this extreme, but lots of businesses still think this type of content works, and it really doesn't. So this is an example of how we need to stop thinking like this as a business. So flip that on its head. Unilad. Everyone heard of Unilad? Yeah. Cool. So we all know they started out as a small Facebook page creating relatable content targeted to male university students. They've now grown and they now reach 1 billion people per week globally, which is just mental. And the reason they've been able to do that is because they truly understand the consumer that's consuming the content, and they know how to create content that makes people take action. So in this example I've got for you now, it's an example where they've teamed up with a dating app called Badoo. Anybody heard of Badoo? No? It's kind of like Tinder. Anyone on Tinder? Yeah. Oh, the hand up over there. There we go. Nice. So it's like Tinder, and basically Badoo teamed up with uni lads to create a piece of content to promote the app. And rather than do a boring video saying, look at this cool app, it's really cool, what they did was they actually just gave the app to elderly people and filmed them using it. So let's just have a look at this. Has anyone seen this before?
No.
Yeah, a couple of people.
Oh, Sophia said when?
Oh my gosh.
I'm looking to see if there's anyone that attracts me. He attracts me.
And I like a woman with nice physique, make you laugh, no nice bumpy top. You see what I mean? See, I make you funky, make you laugh, anyway, yeah.
Ibiza, definitely like Ibiza.
Bruno Mars. What's Bruno Mars?
And who came up with this crazy idea of sticking puppy ears on and puppy noses?
Enjoy dressing in camouflage.
When I was dating age, it was sort of going to a pub.
Meet them at a party and we'll talk and chat up inside.
Justin Bieber.
Emma. Oh, Monica.
Right, swipe that way. No, the other way.
You can tell I'm 76, can't you? I should have said, shall we meet sometime?
Woo too?
What are you up to?
Is that what
What's an acronym?
have we got any emojis?
Kiss.
He reminds me of Littlefinger in Game of Thrones.
Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Now come on, fair go.
That's only 5 miles away. You can walk there. Yeah, that'll keep you fit.
Just up the road, yeah.
Actually, this looks quite interesting. I might do this when I get home.
It's very good. You just type in mate and you get people to talk to you just like that. It's marvellous. I think this is, it's marvellous, mate.
Woo too to you. Ooh.
Okay, did you see how different that was? What made that different for you guys?
Felt more organic.
Mm-hmm.
Literally hardly mentioned the product at all.
Yep. Anything else? Sorry?
Authentic.
Yes, authentic. Anything else?
What do you guys think?
It was great. Yeah, so I mean, it's relatable, it's culturally relevant to the audience, it's the kind of thing that you tag your friends, your cousins, your mates in. How do I bring this screen back up?
Push the play button on the left one.
Uh-huh. Cool. So to summarize that point, what we're all trying to do when we're creating video content on social is we're trying to stop that scroll. The phone is the thing that controls all of our lives, and the thing that controls the phone is our thumb. Okay, so we're trying to stop that scroll. So you really need to be thinking about what are you going to do when you're creating a piece of video content to stop people scrolling. Point number 2, understand the science of sharing. And this is more around understanding the science of why people take action. So the thing that's going to have the number 1 biggest impact on the success of your videos, this is probably the most important point of the whole talk, the thing that's going to have the number 1 biggest impact on the success of your videos is how many people take action once they've consumed it, right? Because does everyone understand what a social media algorithm is? Yeah? So to decide who they show the content, and one of the biggest factors that influences that is engagement, right? Is how many people like it, comment on it, share it, tag their friends. So as businesses, we really, really need to be focusing on getting people to take action once they've consumed a piece of content. So I'm going to put the question to you. What do you think is the number 1 thing that will make people take action from a piece of video content?
Make them laugh.
Make them laugh? Okay. Any other suggestions?
Useful.
Yep. Anyone else? Come on.
Something that they found relatable.
Relatable, yes. Anyone else? Stroking your beard there, Aaron?
Yeah, always. it tells them to do something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I'm just going to give you the answer now. But all of those come under the umbrella of one thing, and that's emotion. We share content that makes us laugh, that makes us cry, that makes us happy, that makes us sad, that makes us go, ah. It's all to do with emotion. So did anyone see Mark Zuckerberg in Congress a while back? He looks shit scared, doesn't he? Jesus. He's showing a lot of emotion there. But really what we're doing is we want to trigger emotion. And something I want you all to do after today, or even in a bit, look at your Facebook profile, look at the last 5 to 10 things you shared, and I guarantee all of those have triggered your emotion somehow. Just ask yourself, how did that trigger my emotion? And I guarantee it did. And you came up with some other ideas which are also right, to be useful, to define ourselves to others, to inspire people. These are all other reasons around why people take action and why people share content, but they all come under the umbrella of emotion. And ultimately, we want to make people feel something. That's Michael Jordan crying, by the way. We want to make people feel something. This should be a big focus when creating video content for business. Number 3, now that we've forgotten everything we know, we understand the science of why people take action and share, which is emotion. Now we need to actually create something. We need to create some ideas. And one of the best ways to come up and develop content ideas, video content ideas, that will actually work in 2018 is to get inspiration from other businesses, creators, publications that are doing it well. And here's a list of various different businesses, publications, creators that are really nailing content right now. Honestly, if you do one thing after today to get value from this, just go and look at what all these guys are doing and learn from it, because there's so much you can learn from this. At the end, I've got a link to all these slides as well if you want them.
Mark is going to be devastated. This is the one event he's not come to at Kent Digital Meetup, and he's on
I know.
with Gary Vaynerchuk and Uni Man.
I know, yeah. So
Tell Mark.
So for those that don't know, Red Sprout, there's not many kind of local businesses on here because it's difficult to find examples of people doing it really well, because it's not easy to do well. But one example is Red Sprout. I'm sure everyone's seen Mark Gaisford's videos and stuff. He's really nailing video right now on LinkedIn, and we can all learn something from him. So small businesses can do this, right? It's not just for all these big players. We can do this. Also, Dodgems and Floss. This dude over here does some really great video kind of vloggy stuff. I always watch your stuff, it's really good. So please look out for other people. Anyone else seen any good video content from businesses around here that they want to share? Is there anyone kind of that you've seen online that's really creating good video? Sorry? Pete McKinnon? Yep.
I think the guys at Giant, they do YouTube.
Yeah.
I was going to say you guys, but I was going to say you specifically because I felt like I knew you were ready today.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, Tony there.
Exactly. Good.
What's that one in the top left and white? What is that to say?
That is Enlight, PhotoFox. So that's a really great app. It's basically like Photoshop on your phone, and they do live streams of them editing content on their phone, and they do these really cool interactive challenges with video content. So Enlight, PhotoFox is that one up there. They're really good. Also, there's On the Tools. So it's a really great one. I've got an example of something they do, and we know those guys really well, and I'll show you an example of their stuff in a minute. But yeah. Actually, here's an example that I'm going to show you. So this is an example from On the Tools. Who's heard of On the Tools? So On the Tools, they've just actually hit 2 million likes on Facebook, so it was a big celebration the other day. But it's basically a couple of guys who were going to create an app for the like trades industry, like builders, carpenters, plumbers, to help them get work, right? And their idea was they quit their jobs, they had no money, Lee and Adam, and they thought, well, what can we do for free to try and drum up some attention to help fund our app? So they started a Facebook page called On the Tools, and they basically just shared funny content of people who are on site, you know, what they call apprentices, like funny stuff around apprentices and funny stuff around on the site and stuff. And they've grew the page to now 2 million likes. It's a hugely engaged audience of people in the trades industry. And now they team up with some of the biggest construction brands in the world to create content to promote their products. But the way they do it is really clever. They use the Unilad approach, not the Microsoft approach. So here's an example from a recent video campaign they did where they were promoting, what was it called? Waterproofing products. I can't remember the name of the company, but it's a big company. They had a waterproofing range. So rather than just creating a video about waterproofing ranges, they did a parody of the It film. Who's seen the It film? Yeah, it's like a scary film with a clown in a drain. Just watch it after this and you'll get it.
That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. I hate this, by the way.
This seems like such
Here, what a nice boat. You want it back?
Yeah.
You look like a nice boy.
I'm 34. What are you doing down there?
Oh, I am Sugar, the waterproof clown.
I'm gonna go.
Without your boat. It floats down here, Gary. It floats because of our new waterproofing range.
What are you on about? And how do you know my name?
We sell all kinds of waterproofing products, Gary. Need to fix a leaking roof? We've got that covered. You get it? Covered.
What are you talking about? Are you trying to sell me stuff from a drain?
Yes, mate. Do you want to buy some or not?
No.
Fine, do one then.
Have you heard about Leyland's new waterproofing range?
Okay, can you see how creative they've been there? This got millions of views, hundreds of thousands of tradespeople tagging other tradespeople in it. Can you see how powerful this stuff is if you really truly understand the audience and make that piece of content culturally relevant? So that was really good. The next example is something where it's not so positive. Where is it? Let's do this one. So you don't always have to make people laugh. Like some businesses, or lots of businesses, will see this kind of content and think, we're not funny, we can't be funny on camera, how can we create entertaining content that triggers emotion? And there's different ways you can do it. So here's an example from St John's Ambulance. And they're not making people laugh in this video, but they're definitely triggering emotion.
New scooter?
Oh yeah.
You know those ones where...
Oh, hold on. Better get this, buddy. Hello, Martin. Wasn't expecting to hear from you today. Wasn't Steve supposed to be sorting that out on Friday? Okay, fine. It's not a problem.
Alice is one of thousands of St John Ambulance volunteers. She's fully trained in first aid and knows what to do in any situation.
Say something, buddy.
She can be the difference between life and death. But what she can't do is be there every time.
Briefly. Help! Help!
How did that make you feel? A bit different? Yeah, it wasn't very nice, was it? But, I mean, the whole idea with this campaign was to encourage people to learn how to do first aid to prevent these situations from happening. So I'm sure lots of parents out there would see this and it would make them think because it's triggering emotion. Okay? One final one is, what's this thing here?
Yeah, it's one in the middle.
That one. This is really cute.
Up a bit.
I suck at this. I can't really see the screen. Aha. One more. This is a nice one. Okay. Oh.
It looks like it's paused on the video in the actual video.
Yeah. It's gonna come back. Kind of make you go, oh, didn't it? It's like a bit of a cute one. That was Caesar's dog food, by the way. Has anyone bought Caesar's dog food? Anyone tried it? It's not that nice. So there's some examples for you, but really what I want you to be thinking is, these are all good and well, but how can you apply this to your own business? What video content can you make that's really going to resonate with your audience and trigger their emotions? That's the really, really important part of today, to think about how you can apply it to your own business. And lots of people ask us, especially, can this really work B2B? Are you guys all B2B? Or is any B2C? B2Bs? Cool, yeah, so a big percentage. Yeah, half and half. So lots of people say, can this work B2B? And it definitely can, and we're a living example of that. We produce a lot of content aimed at businesses. We started out, here's just an example of some of the content we make. We started out, and the way we got traction initially was through educational content. So kind of content at the top of the funnel to raise awareness. We did things like how to get verified on Twitter, how to build your influence in your industry. We've got loads and loads of educational videos, and that really helped us gain traction because we were teaching people stuff that other people were trying to charge them to learn. So we'd give everything away, and that's what gave us the most attention. And then my brother joined the business not long after I started, and we started to produce more entertaining, fun content. And we've done a couple of kind of parodies of social media habits in real life and funny ways people act when they're networking, just kind of light-hearted, jokey piece of content that we know our target market, business owners, we know they do things like go networking. So when we produce a parody about going networking, we know it's going to grab their attention because they go networking, they see the same things happening that we do. Okay, so that's how we're really honing in on our target market. And ultimately, you need to consume, get inspired, and take action. And the best way to take action is to put it in your calendar. So if you're thinking right now, oh God, we need to do more video content, we need to create more emotional video content that triggers emotions, what are you going to do about it? What's the first step you're going to do? Schedule that in your calendar, and that's the first step to do. And finally, you need to create, promote, and repurpose this content. So I changed this section a while back actually because something happened which I thought would be an interesting kind of case study for this. So a couple of months ago, we got a cold email from a lady, a PR lady, asking us to come, all expense paid trip to Prague to come to this event called Social Bakers Engage. Has anyone heard of that event? Engage Prague? No? It's a really big event apparently. And it's got like, it is a big event. It's got like 1,000 people going there, they've got some big names there. And she emailed us and we were like, this is just a spam email. Anyway, looked it up and it was a real event, and then got back to her and we ended up going. And whilst we were at the event, we created a load of content, mainly shot with our phones, to talk about the event, to promote the event, and it had a huge impact. So whilst we were there, a guy called Matt Navarra, has anyone heard of him? Matt Navarra, he started the Next Web. No, okay. He's a good guy to follow, by the way, on Twitter. He shares the latest updates on social platforms, really great guy to follow. And he tweeted us saying, with this analytics stuff, saying that we'd had the 4th biggest impact from the whole event with the content we were creating. And bearing in mind, there was Forbes there was people from CNN, there was big influencers like Julius Dean, the magician guy. For a small agency, we had a big impact, and that was because we were creating fun, relatable content whilst we were there. So here's just some examples of the stuff we did. Before we went, we did like a promo video, basically saying, we're coming to Prague to Social Bakers Engage. And then we targeted people who we knew were going through Facebook ads. So before we even went, people who were going had seen our face and felt like they knew us. So whilst we were there, we could really engage with them. We also did a live stream on the Social Bakers Engage page where we got interviewed and asked questions. We also interviewed the global head of social at CNN, so we took full advantage. Any opportunity we had to create a great piece of video content, we took it, right? And I guess that's the big takeaway for this. What opportunities are there for you guys to be creating content that your audience is going to find? Finally, the whole point of this is to stop thinking like a business and start thinking like a creator. There's a picture of my brother and me in a bath. There's a link to all the slides. Thanks.
design is broken and here's how we fix it by me, Aaron Taylor, CEO of 62, a web design business. In the beginning, there was the machine. And the machine was without form and devoid of all knowledge. And lo, the academics poured their knowledge into the machine and filled it with their wisdom. And they looked upon the machine and they were proud. Ooh. I'm one step ahead. And the Vintserf said, let there be networks, that we may share this knowledge with other machines and other academics. And it was so. And he was proud. And the network begot the ARPANET, and the ARPANET begot the Janet. And across the valleys and the mountains, the network spread. And the academics rejoiced in what they saw, because they saw that it was good. And they were proud. And from the ranks of academia stepped forth the one Bill Gates. And he said, hark, behold, this is the IBM compatible PC which I have given the divine source of Windows and made it useful. Take this and access the network, and you may access the knowledge of academia. And then, from the mountains of Switzerland, the Tim Berners-Lee stood atop the highest peak, and raising one hand, he said, take this, all of you, and link it. This is the hypertext document which I have given unto you. And lo, he held up his other hand, and looking into the endless wonder of creation, he said, take this, all of you, and share it. This is the URL which I have given unto you. Now go forth and publish. And the people rejoiced. And the people published. And into this network, they poured the sum of their knowledge, their hopes, their dreams, and their fears. And the web was born. But it was without form. And the Tim Berners-Lee looked upon what had been created. And he asked, who will organize this knowledge and make it universally accessible and useful? And there, from the Silicon Valleys of California, stepped forth Sergey Brin and Larry Page, and they said, lo, we shall take up this mantle. We shall organize the sum total of human knowledge and make it universally accessible and useful. And unto humanity they gave their only begotten Google, that we may quickly and easily search the knowledge of humanity. And the people rejoiced, for all was good. Until one day, someone said, hey everyone, look at this cat. And we have been on a downward trajectory ever since. Hi everyone. My name's Aaron Taylor and I am a web designer. And for that I apologize. Because I'm here today to share with you a few thoughts and observations that I've had in the 8 years that I've been running a web design business. I mean, at the heart of this talk is a really kind of simple message. And the title is totally misleading because the problem isn't with web design, the problem is with the web design industry. And the message that I want to get across is that if we in web design regulate ourselves better, if we focus on empowering our customers, then we can reduce what I perceive to be a sinfully large amount of wastage that we create in this industry. I'm not talking about wasted plastic, I'm talking about wasted time, wasted effort, wasted money. There's several things over the years that have happened that have brought me to this point. There's only so many horror stories you can hear on initial consultations about what happened when the prospect was with the last guy. But there was one statistic that really got me thinking, and this is a study from ZDNet, which was conducted by a company that's now part of ThoughtBot. If anyone's heard of ThoughtBot, and the blog Giant Robots Crashing into Other Giant Robots. You know, these guys are thought leaders for the internet, for web design. And it was this statistic: 1 in 4 web projects fail. That's what they found. 1 in 4 web projects fail. And that got me asking why? Why? Like, what other industry is this acceptable in? I don't know. How would you feel if you're buying a new house and Taylor Wimpey turn around and say, you know what, 3 out of 4 of our houses are still standing. You know, you wouldn't accept it. And so I've been really thinking about this, mulling it over. And for me, it comes down to 2 things, which I'll elaborate on now. But the first thing, why I think this happens and why I think our web design industry is broken, is because as an industry, we have left our customers behind. We have left them behind. Let me tell you a story that I heard in the office. So I'm working away, the phone rings. It was actually Helen that was on the phone talking to a client. The conversation basically went like this. Okay, yeah, all right. So, all right, I understand that that's not looking quite right on your site. So if you navigate to your site, then what browser are you using? Okay, Firefox. Great browser. Now, if you open a new tab, then okay, so the new tab button. Okay, so in the top right. Okay, so a tab is like a new window that opens within the browser. True story, guys. I know it's an anecdote, but think about the bell curve distribution. Think about how good people are with tech. Like, think about the worst person that you know with tech, absolute Luddite, compared to, you know, I don't know, someone like Larry Page, Sergey Brin, building tech every day. Think about someone you know who is average with technology. Half of all people are worse with tech than them, okay? Half of all people. Web design, it's a technical industry. It doesn't exist without technology. So when people are coming to us and saying, hey, I need a website, we go, of course, PHP 7, ECMA Script 6, Node, React, Angular, JS, WordPress, would you like some cookies with your coffee script? Like, how are they actually gonna, you know, how are they actually gonna engage with that? We've left them behind. In many cases, we've even stopped asking them why they're coming to us for a website in the first place. You know, like, I need a website. Why? Because those guys told me I need a website. Okay, but let's look at you. You're a YouTube blogger. You've got millions of, you've got millions of views. You've got, people calling your office day in, day out. Like, you've got advertising revenue. What is a website actually going to bring to you? Casey Neistat, for example, his actual official website, Casey Neistat, who was someone that Dan referenced, his actual website says on it, front page, white background, black text, I'm not entirely sure what role a website should play for a guy like me. This is like the top YouTube blogger, you know, like probably seven, maybe 8-figure business. Doesn't know what a website can do for him. We've stopped asking them why. We've left our customers behind. And then when people challenge us, when they challenge us about why they might need a website, why we're recommending something for them, we go, they just don't get it. We go, they don't get it. You know, when they haggle on price, We say, well, you clearly don't understand the value. You don't get it and you don't understand the value. I think it's us who don't actually understand the value. I think it's us that don't understand the value, the true value of what it is we do. You know? If someone doesn't get it, the mature response is, okay, well, what can I do with my capabilities? What more can I add? What more can I demonstrate to show people how this can work for them? How can I help bring people inside my little walled garden so they can see what amazing things are capable? That's the mature response. Unfortunately, in the web design industry, our response is typically, so what can I lock down? What more stuff can I sell them that is money for old rope? What can I hide? What can I obfuscate? And what can I keep in my back pocket? You know, what can I triage out of this lack of understanding to turn a profit from it? There is a gulf of knowledge between what we do in web design and what our customers understand about it. I mean, you know, most of our customers are still struggling with the idea of Web 1.0. We must be on like Web 5 by now or something, you know? Like Web 1, you can read it. Web 2, it can read you. Web 3, you can touch it. Web 4, it can touch you. Alexa, what's Web 5? But there's this gulf of knowledge, and it's huge and it's real, and there is a huge amount of people that are trying to access like good web design services, but they are scared, they don't know where to start, they don't even have the questions to ask themselves to begin to try and figure out what it is that they need. If we really want our clients to get it, if we really want them to see the value, then we need to empower them. But as you'll see, we're at a distinct disadvantage there, which brings me on to my second point, which is, as an industry, we are a bunch of amateurs. Amateurs. I mean, as an industry, we've been around for 20, 30 years, and we're still trying to figure out what it is we should be doing to actually bring genuine, true, ongoing value for our customers now and in the future. And I mean, like, this breaks our industry, but it's there's a couple of interesting things that happen in here that amount to this. Okay, caveat. I'm not an amateur. Like, there are people in this room that run web design industries that are not amateurs. But if they've ever had a conversation where they've lost out for, you know, they've pitched $3,000 and someone's pitched 300 quid and the customer hasn't known how to tell the difference, you know, it's because of this. Okay, so let's look at the web design industry versus any other industry. I'm going to pick legal for this point, and let's ask ourselves the question: how long does it take to start a business in the legal industry? So just to become a solicitor, just to say I'm a solicitor, it takes 6 years. You've got a 3-year degree, you've got 1 year legal practice course, you've got 2 years actually doing your, you know, it's effective, it's not an apprenticeship, but it's 2 years where you are sponsored, it's training basically. And then after that, you need to work up through the ranks, maybe specialize, you know, it could be 10 years before you're ready to step out and set yourself up and say, hey, I am XYZ, legal services, and I'm open for business. Let's compare that with what you need to become a web designer, to set up a web design business. The short version. I think you can do it in 6 days. Starting from scratch, I think you could set up a web design business and maybe even land your first client in 6 days. So I'd do it like this. Start off at Squarespace, head on over to Squarespace, set up an account. Then I'd go onto YouTube, like watch, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours of video on, you know, how to use Squarespace. Maybe I'd go onto Web Designer Depot website, or actually wander out and buy a copy of Web Designer magazine, learn some of the latest buzzwords, the latest trends and things like that. I'd head back over to Squarespace, make my own website, write a bit of copy, make a few kind of concept sites saying, this is work that I can do, then get business cards. And then, yeah, that's it, I guess. Google index, fantastic. I'm now open for business. I am a web design business. Thank you very much. There are very few industries where the barrier to entry is a laptop and a week. But that's admittedly an edge case, and I'm being harsh on that, because the majority of people that get into this industry get into it from the industry. So they are a talented designer, they are a cracking programmer, they're a creative strategist. You know, they're really, really bloody excellent at doing the work. And then they have what Michael Gerber calls the entrepreneurial seizure. Have you heard of this? The entrepreneurial seizure? Okay, so this is the bit where you go, you're paying me £15 an hour, you're charging him £50 an hour. I can do this myself. And that's all there is to business. So that's the entrepreneurial seizure. The moment when you step out and you go, hey, look, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this myself. But you go out there and you're excited because you're passionate about the work. You're passionate about jumping in and creating the solution. And so what happens is, once you land a few clients and you get a bit of traction, more people come to you and they're sitting down with you and they're saying, hey, look, I've got this business problem and I think a website can solve it. Yeah, but you're more interested in actually doing the work. They're bringing you a problem and you're more interested in your solution to it. This is the equivalent of going and sitting down with your doctor and your doctor saying to you, do you know what? I can't wait to get you on the operating table. I'm really looking forward to your surgery. You know, it's what we should be doing, and this is again not it's not the people that do that. They're not at fault for doing this, but they need to realize that we should be looking and trying to understand the problem that's been put before us before we jump into our own solution. Yes, the solution is the fun bit, but if you don't understand the problem, all that's going to happen is it's going to be quite pretty and quite useless. There's one more thing which is also quite worrying, which I said earlier, alongside low barrier to entry, not focusing on the problem, understanding the problem. Is this, as an industry, very few of us understand the true value of what we do. And you can see this today, because there is such a lack of differentiation between different web design companies. There is a lack of differentiation, and that stems from not understanding the true value of what you do. Once you understand the true value of what you do, you step into Apple territory, you go into the stratosphere. When you don't understand it, you end up in a commodity market, and that's what we're in. That's what we've got in the web design business. We've got a commodity market where people are more interested in price and feature than benefit. I need a website, it needs to have this page, that page, that page. How much does that cost? No, the conversation should be, I need a website because I've got this problem, this problem, this problem. What experience do you have in solving those types of problems? And we don't help it ourselves, because we totally agree, and we go, look, yeah, I'll sell you a website by the page. You know, I'll sell you it by the feature. You know, we're selling a digital product in feet and inches. You know, and this is a bespoke offering. A website is tailored to an individual organization or an individual's unique needs. It's bespoke. But we're selling it like it's you know, there's 4 metric tons of website. You know, it's because we don't understand the value of it. The worst thing of that is that because of the gulf of knowledge, because of a lack of understanding the true value, a commodity market that we've created ourselves, and not understanding, not sitting with people's problems, is that we also start just trading off the back of ignorance. I've heard stories of people that have got websites that are convinced they cannot update it themselves. And then you go to website/WP admin and oh, lo and behold, it's on WordPress. But they're charging you £50 for every upload. It's trading off of ignorance. It's creating ignorance to turn a profit. And I understand why we do this, because we don't understand the value. That means that we think if we empower people, if we tell people how to get things done, if we share our thinking with them, we think that they're just going to go and do it themselves. We think they're just going to hop on over to Wix and start knocking up a whole bunch of websites, and we think we're going to lose business. But if history's told us anything, it's that those who reach out and bridge the gap of knowledge are the ones that win the future. Google is bridging the gap of knowledge. Google is teaching us and giving us the tools that we need to go about our daily lives in a better way. And they are winning the future game. They've got one secret, which they hide very well, that being their search algorithm. But everything else that they do is transparent. You can see it working before you. And we need to do some more of that in the web design industry. That our industry is broken because we've made it a black box industry. You get input, we do some magic, there's your output. So you can probably tell that I've been thinking about this stuff for quite some time. Having defined the problem, I'll now move on to the solutions, and the solutions are remarkably simple. So here's how we fix web design. It's a two-step, maybe a three-step process. Step one, empower our customers. Empower our customers. Share our best ideas with them, share our thinking, share our thoughts, our insight, our knowledge. Give them the tools that they need to help themselves have better conversations with us. If you really care about having a better conversation with your client, then you will give them the things that they need to have a better conversation with you. Put them in a position where they can have an informed discussion inside their business, outside their business, with their friends, with you when they finally come to you. Publish this, give this stuff away. If we bridge the gap of knowledge, you're working with XYZ widget company. What's the chances that overnight, because they know some of the key things that go into a successful website strategy, what's the chances that overnight they're going to flip and start selling websites? Zero. That is not what their business is about. That is not their cost structure. That is not where their values lie. That is not where their expertise is. They are still going to come to you to implement it, and they're going to be willing to pay you even more money because it's easier for them to see the difference between you and the guy next door. Empower them, and they will start to see the value. In the same way that we make user interfaces intuitive, we need to make our businesses intuitive. We need to make it easy for people to see what's going on, to understand us, to buy from us. But we have to give that to them. Step 2, regulate ourselves. Yay, regulation! Yeah? So we are an unregulated industry, and that's kind of obvious because when a website goes down, people tend not to die. So it's fine us not being a regulated industry, but that's not we should act as though we were regulated. We should act as though the work we do is so vital to people that are buying it that we sign up to some kind of charter, some kind of organization that anyone can join, even just a code of conduct. And I'm not talking about it's web, it's digital. We've got standards, but those standards are mostly for the benefit of other people programming. No, we need to make standards about how we're going to deliver our business. In the same way that you look at the construction of this building and that pillar up there has been built to a standard, it will hold up the roof above us. We need to be making an effort to work to standards that say that, look, even if we go our separate ways, you can be pretty sure that you've got a quality product, that it will deliver on the goals that you outlined in your original brief, that it has been built and tested to, XYZ standards. I don't know, money back guarantee if you want to go there, whatever. We should be working as though we are a crucial and vital industry. But there's one more thing that needs to happen, and we in the web design industry, we need to change how we talk about websites. We need to change how we talk about websites because they are not, nor have they ever been, digital calling cards. They're not digital business cards. No one in the history of histories has ever got any business, one new business, because he had a stack of business cards on the side. That is not the purpose of them. We need to change how we think about them. Because for me, websites are diligent, they are reliable, they are incredibly eloquent, they are personable, they are the best, most reliable, and probably cheapest employee you will ever have in your organization. They will work for you 24/7, 365. If we start talking about websites like what they are employees, they are team members, and if we start having conversations with our clients about that, with that in mind, then it's going to be a hell of a lot better for everyone. We're going to get better briefs because people are going to be thinking, well, actually, I wouldn't just employ someone off the street because they look kind of nice, unless, of course, you're a model scout. But, they won't be thinking of that. They'll be thinking of the roles and the problems that they want that person to solve. And those are the conversations that we need to be having with our clients in our industry to reduce the amount of waste, to get rid of that 1 in 4 failure. It should be, there's always 1 in 4, it's 25%, way too high. It should be like below 5, My final point, and that I'll leave you on, is this. It's got so much promise, and we see examples of it being done fantastically well every day. It is a technology industry, and the purpose of technology, and I want everyone who works in technology to think about this, the purpose of technology is to give you superpowers. So if your technology isn't giving you superpowers, or if you're making technology and it's not giving the client superpowers, then take a step back and ask yourself, why? Rant.